Hello BookTube and welcome to the show, to my loyal band of followers, the people that I do this for. Welcome back. I love you all. I spoil books when I review them, but I give a different level of spoiler warning depending on the book. But this one is so famous, I don't think there's anyone left on the planet who doesn't know what happens. But just in case you don't know the plot of Jurassic Park, then I suggest you go and read the book or watch the film and come back later, okay? So spoiler warning, but dinosaurs escape and start eating people. Jurassic Park, 1990, Michael Crichton. Not only is this my very first time reading Jurassic Park, it's my very first Michael Crichton book. How the hell does that happen? I have been reading constantly for the past 40 years. It's weird. Obviously, this has been made into a pretty successful movie franchise. I'm a huge fan of the first film, not so much the other ones. And because the adaptation is very close to the book, it did affect my reading experience. I've said this 100 times before on the channel. I'm a huge advocate for separating the different art forms. I just don't care how faithful an adaptation is, how close it gets to the source material. It doesn't bother me. That's not how I judge things. I can read or watch one or the other and completely ignore the other one. You've seen Jurassic Park, haven't you?
Yes.
Do you want to be in this video?
No.
Good. However, this is Jurassic Park. It's deep in the zeitgeist. I found it impossible to not picture some of the iconic stuff from the movie, and I think I may have been singing the theme tune while I was reading. It's a dinosaur, it's a dinosaur, it's a fucking massive dinosaur. And that's okay, because the book and the way that it's written is very cinematic. Michael Crichton and Steven Spielberg are a perfect match. The film and the novel complement each other. Well done, everybody. The plot. I should do my review as normal. Even though everybody knows the plot, I should do my thing and still set the scene. Billionaire John Hammond has founded and funded a genetic manipulation cloning research company and figured out how to bring dinosaurs back from extinction. He has a private island off the coast of Costa Rica where these dinosaurs are born or made. No, born, where they're born, and they all live in a big wildlife preserve called Jurassic Park. They're making the final preparations to open this park to the public as a tourist attraction. There's a few creases to iron out first, and then the dinosaurs all escape and start eating each other and the people. So on the surface, it's a very simple story about people trapped in the park with monsters trying to eat them. Will they escape? Will they survive? But it's so much more than that, because Michael Crichton sets the whole thing up as one big comment about why we shouldn't fuck around with nature, or the outrage at how scientists abuse their power. It's not just a disaster movie because there's an accident-prone workforce or a badly designed security system. He goes to great lengths to explain that this ecosystem will always end in disaster. It's something that you can plot on a graph and write down. It's inevitable. But before we even get to that disaster movie section of the book, before we even get to the island, we have a sense of awe and tension, which is perfectly shown in the film. It's a really weird feeling reading a book and feeling tension when you already know what's going to happen. I'm reading this book in 2020. I know what's going to happen. I've seen the film 100 times. I know it's got dinosaurs in it, but still, Michael Crichton totally got me with the build-up, the reveal. That's quite a skill, you know. It's all in the descriptive prose and having the talent to actually put you in the mind from the perspective of the character that is experiencing it for the very first time. It's a bit like watching a really well-directed, suspenseful scene in a film that you've already seen a dozen times. You know the outcome. You know that the secret agent isn't going to get caught, but he almost does. You know that that sports team are going to win in the final seconds. You know that the dinosaurs are coming. You know that they exist. But it's still, what? Dinosaurs? Shit! And there's this wonderful sense of ominous doom about the whole thing, which is supported by Crichton's descriptions of torn flesh and snapped bones. It's not glorified gore, or it's not quite horror. It's more like efficiency and power. And he's already working on that theme of imbalance. There's a feeling that these creatures should not be in the same world as humans. They shouldn't exist side by side. For the most part, I really like his character work as well. There are 3 or 4 main characters that I think are there to represent certain ideologies. So Hammond is greed and power. Grant, the paleontologist, is science and curiosity, I suppose. But my favourite character in the whole book was Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum in the film. He's a little bit more abrasive in the book, not quite as adorable as Jeff Goldblum, but he's there to spell out Michael Crichton's opinion on unbridled scientific progress. The chaos theory beyond calculation idea. It's the eloquent way of saying, don't fuck with nature. Greetings from the future. These videos take a lot of time and effort and a little bit of money to make. Money which we don't have. You can watch all of our videos for free on YouTube, or if you would like to support the channel, you can use Buy Me a Coffee, which is an online tipping service. Get yourself a t-shirt or a mug or some socks at the merch store. But best of all, we have a Patreon. You'll gain access to our exclusive Discord, home of the world's greatest read-alongs, the podcast Radio Death Cult, and of course, you can tell your friends and family that you've joined a death cult. Links in the description and on our YouTube homepage. Thank you so much. But what about the stars of the show? The bloody dinosaurs. That's what we were promised. Yes, he absolutely nails it. And I think a lot of it is to do with the fact that he uses the dinosaurs in short bursts. They don't overwhelm the book. They are the action scenes of the book. They are the set pieces. You can create a wonderful backdrop for them. You can convince us that it would be possible to bring them back to life. And you can make it plausible that they would be able to get that close to humans. A story that makes sense. But you still have to make the dinosaurs jump off the page. That's a different kind of writing. That T-Rex sequence, the one by the river, was my favourite, I think, because a dinosaur, and in particular a T-Rex, isn't just another monster. It's an almost mythical thing that demands respect. We all love the T-Rex. So in that river scene, Grant and the 2 kids are desperately trying to get away, but there's also this sense of, it's a T-Rex. We're honoured to be in its presence. So you're looking that way to try and escape, but you're also looking over your shoulder. It's a fucking T-Rex. I suppose it would be a similar feeling if you were getting probed by an alien. It would be uncomfortable, but you'd be looking over your shoulder the whole time. It's a fucking alien. What? The velociraptors were great. The whole climax with them surrounding the building at the end was really well done. I really did get the feeling that they were intelligent, not just a dangerous lizard. And the final kill when the gang of what were they called? I can't pronounce that. The big chicken-sized dinosaurs. Then when they all gang up on Hammond and eat him alive at the end, it's brutal, it's poetic, it's justice, and I loved it. What surprised me about Jurassic Park is you have all the ingredients for a standard disaster story. You've got the really simple world building. The premise is also a really great hook. And you have the ultimate antagonist. That's enough for a great book. Go and write that story. But Michael Crichton has another disaster story hiding under the surface at first, but it becomes more important. In fact, he gives it more attention than he does to the dinosaurs. And that's the human... Am I really going to use the word folly again? Yeah, that's the human folly of people thinking that they are so smart and yet they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. And as the instigator to all of this, Hammond is a fascinatingly complex character. He has the power to bring dinosaurs back to life, and it does end up being about money and greed and profit, but he has a childlike fascination with what he's doing. He loves the fact that he's involved with all of this. It's a very cool thing. But Crichton is saying, through the voice of Ian Malcolm, that Hammond and science in general has a problem with control and restraint. So Hammond now represents science, or the darker side of science, and the condemnation of that gets stronger and stronger as you go through the book, culminating in a speech by Ian Hammond about how progress and invention are a flawed thing. We're always looking to the next step. Science always asks how, not why. But that disaster story would be a bit boring, wouldn't it? Or it would need a lot of thinking about. So Michael Crichton places that story inside another Hollywood disaster story about dinosaurs and blood. And it totally works. Both disasters are very effective. I do have a couple of negatives, but they are so small. I'm just nitpicking because it's a review. I felt that there were one or two too many characters, or maybe there were a couple of characters that done the same thing. They weren't distinct enough. I think this is addressed in the movie. The cast is a bit more streamlined, or at least that's how it felt. And I didn't really like the kids, especially the little girl, Lex. She just complained all the time, and it wasn't because she was being chased by a T-Rex and nearly dying. It was because she was hungry or bored. It may be totally realistic, but it didn't do anything for me. It just annoyed me a little bit. And although I really love the subplot of the technician stealing the samples and selling them to the other company, and he is the reason that the computers fucked up and the dinosaurs got out, that all makes sense while you're reading it. But at times it felt like all of that was a bit of a coincidence. It all came together at the same time. And it also happened just when the grandkids were there and the park was being inspected. It was a very important day for the park, and it just so happened at this time, even though the setup had been there for years. I think it may have something to do with the chaos theory as well, maybe, but it did feel at times that Michael Crichton was putting the puzzles together in a very convenient way to make the story happen. But as I said, none of this ruined the reading experience at all. I'm just being extremely picky because I'm reviewing. Sometimes when I review, I think of, were there any negatives, and I just highlight them. They're not really negatives. Apart from the annoying kid, I could have done with her getting her legs chewed off by a Dilophosaurus. So that was my very first Michael Crichton book, but it certainly won't be my last. He reminds me a lot of Stephen King. It's very easy to read, but there's a lot of depth there, and more importantly, he's a great storyteller. I really love that mix of relatively hard science and plot. I guess that's his kind of thing, isn't it? So my next Crichton reads will be... I have the Andromeda Strain. I've got the movie as well to watch. Which came first? I'm assuming the book came first. So I've got the Andromeda Strain. And I've picked up Prey as well. They both look good. And I've heard the other big one to look out for is Sphere. But if you've got any more recommendations, just the science fiction side of things, please. I'll be interested. Let me know in the comments. A score for Jurassic Park. It certainly lives up to its reputation. I can't believe I've left it this long. I had a really great time. I'm going 90%. And I watched the film, the first film, as soon as I finished the book, and I'm giving that a 90% as well. Jurassic Park. Did you love Jurassic Park? Did you hate Jurassic Park? Who hates Jurassic Park? You're having a laugh. But if you did, let us know anyway. I'd love to hear from you.